Ubisoft and its Assassin's Creed Shadows associate game director has confirmed or has announced that Yasuke is not an assassin in the game. Who thought this was a good idea? Have a main character in an Assassin's Creed game and not have them be an assassin. What were these people thinking? They clearly were not at all. And it's just been a travesty of errors and agenda and just people not being competent at Ubisoft making decisions for this game. And they're going to pay the price for this. I think lots of people are going to not buy this game because of all of this absolute nonsense that they have shoved into this game. So I wrote this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. And this is what Associate Game Director Simon Lemay-Comtois had to say to Games Radar. He says, Yasuke is not an assassin because the narrative makes sense that he is not. Well, who's making the narrative? You and your team at Ubisoft is making the narrative. So you're the ones who chose not to make him an assassin. So this idea that he's not an assassin because the narrative makes sense that he's not is utterly ridiculous. You could have made any kind of changes to the narrative that you wanted to make him an assassin, but you chose not to. I mean, let's be real here. You're the ones making those decisions. He later reiterated saying he works with fellow protagonist Naue, but he's not an assassin and he doesn't have to be. Yes, he does. If you're going to have a main protagonist in an Assassin's Creed game, it needs to be an assassin. And am I the only one who thinks this? Like, who at Ubisoft thinks this? Like, there has to be at least some people there that had this, that thought this and be like, what are we doing? Why are we making a main character that's not an assassin in our franchise called Assassin's Creed? Like, what are we doing? We need to stop this. Please stop. We're ruining the franchise. No, that person was probably silenced, probably shut down. If there even is someone like that there anymore, who even knows? Who even knows, given the fact that they have all the DEI woke agenda institutionalized in their company? He also shared this, that Yasuke is much more involved in the story, and the reason he doesn't have to be an assassin is because he has his own motivation and core beliefs that align with Naue's, and off they go. So again, trying to push back to this like narrative that he's selling us, which is just ridiculous. If you're going to have a main character in an Assassin's Creed game, the expectation is the character is going to be an assassin. Like, that's what your franchise is. And you're like, nope. Not today. Jeez. So given Yasuke is not an assassin, he does not have many of the abilities that the player characters typically have in Assassin's Creed games. Lemay-Comtois confirmed that he does not have eagle vision. He says, what if Yasuke has eagle vision? It would be easier. No. He needs to not have it, so you play different with him than you play with Naue. So it's not about just the narrative, right? Remember, he's told us it's the narrative makes sense that he is not. It's about the gameplay and the fact that they wanted to have these dual protagonists instead of, just having a male Japanese protagonist and going with that, like they've done in so many other Assassin's Creed games. But no, they wanted to have their DEI agenda pushed into the game with their female Japanese character and then their male African character, which rumors say is in the game because of the riots that took place after the death of George Floyd, which I think are likely to be true. But that's why they have this. It's not just the narrative. It's the gameplay too. And they wanted to have this dual protagonist system to push their DEI agenda, etc. So this isn't surprising, right? We saw this gameplay footage in August where Yasuke jumps off this roof here into the hay pile, doesn't do the leap of faith that we expect, jumps in, just kind of lands on his feet, rolls over on his side, then brushes himself off. Doesn't look like he's taking any damage or anything. So he technically does perform it. We just don't get the nice animation that we typically see with assassins in Assassin's Creed games. And then obviously here's another clip from, what is this, Outside Extra. They shared this over on YouTube. I don't know why it's such in the dark. Can't even see it, but we can see it barely enough, but the lighting is like really bad. But you can see even further up, he jumps down, he rolls out, and you get some commentary. It is harder than it looks, except that he did it. He just didn't do the dive, right? But it doesn't look like there's any difference in the actual mechanic. You just get a different animation in a line of dialogue or whatever. So again, we've also seen this too, that they were going to have this dual protagonist system and they were going to have different gameplay. If you go back to this blog post in May where they refer to Yasuke as a powerful African samurai, again, you can look at it right here, real life samurai. And they said the decision, a real life historical figure as well, and calling him a samurai, heavily disputed. I think most historians disagree with Ubisoft's assertion here that he was not a samurai. It's more likely that he was kind of a potential bodyguard and as like a court entertainer rather than an actual samurai. But nevertheless, even in that blog post, they said here, this means both protagonists offer vastly different gameplay experiences and overlapping perspectives on a transformative moment in Japanese history. And then it adds, while Naoi and Yasuke play very differently, Naoi is a shinobi who uses stealth, parkour, and gadgets, whereas Yasuke is combat-oriented and armored. The pair's personality ultimately complement each other to form a unique dynamic throughout Shadows. So we knew that they were going to have different gameplay styles and things like that, but we didn't know that he wasn't going to be an assassin. And I just think that is, what were you thinking? What were you thinking making one of your main protagonists in an Assassin's Creed game not an assassin? It's just stupid. Just stupid, just dumb. They clearly were not thinking whatsoever. And that seems to be the case with many of the decisions surrounding this game. And they're going to pay. I think they're going to pay quite a bit. I think the sales for this game are going to end up looking a lot like Star Wars Outlaws, a lot like Dragon Age: The Veilguard, missing expectations by a lot. I think that is what we are going to see within the next year. Especially after this game comes out here in March or whatever. So I would expect to see, I guess, we would see the quarterly report sometime in maybe July, maybe August, and then if not that, maybe in like October or whatever in the next one. So that's when we'll see how poorly this game does. But I think it's going to go bad. I did look at their most recent YouTube trailer. I'll just pull that up right now. If we go to YouTube, we go to the Ubisoft channel here. Click that, and we'll pull up their latest story trailer right here that they put up 3 days ago. You can see only has 540,000 views, 27,000 upvotes, 41,000 downvotes. So it's already getting downvoted, and I'm sure if we look at the comments here, people are probably criticizing it, as they have been for almost over a year now, and saying, so the Black Samurai has a better and expensive armor than the Shogun. Ubi has now started to target videos of Japanese creators who have criticized the game. I mean, just people just torching Ubisoft here. The only reason I clicked was to read the comments. I can't believe my comment has more likes than Ubi's pinned comment. How is this even possible? I don't even know if they have a pinned comment. And then people like pointing out that Yasuke's armor is greater than Nobunaga's. Oda's armor is level 1. Yasuke armor is level 5. Let's actually see what this looks like. So, yeah. I mean, you can't even... excuse me. You can't even make this up, man. It's so bad. And they're going to not get the sales that they are expecting for this game. But let me know what you guys make of the fact that they made Yasuke not an assassin in a game called Assassin's Creed Shadows, where he's the main protagonist. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always speak the truth. And never forget that everything woke turns to crap.